Hi everyone, TRGG here with a new video, which is titled Why Are People Not Hyped for BFA? Some of you probably know what I'm talking about if you have been checking the forums and you're following all of the BFA news very closely, then you might notice that a lot of people are not really that hyped for the new upcoming expansion. For almost every new WoW expansion, the word hype and jumping on the hype train was used very often, but the new Battle For Azeorth expansion seemed to have a very hard time at convincing people that this is indeed what they were hoping for. And here are some reasons why I personally think that BFA is such a controversial expansion. Starting with probably the biggest problem in BFA, class design. Oh yeah, this is definitely one of the top reasons why people are not all that excited for BFA, with a lot of classes losing a bunch of stuff and not gaining much or anything in return. The player base is indeed very divided about the subject, because you also might just be that guy that plays a class that does play very smooth. Then this probably makes you the most happy person in the world. But not so much for people that play, for example, Shaman or Shadow Priest, where Blizzard is even admitting that they will ship BFA with unfinished classes. A lot of pruning has also happened, with most action bars looking very empty. Every new expansion, people are always excited about new spells, new abilities, an extra button, or a new talent row. Again, something not every class is getting in BFA. I think in general, people are going to feel disconnected with the class they had to leave behind in Legion, and this will result in a lot of people re-rolling mains, even if they have played this same class every expansion. Not the biggest reason, but a change that some players really took to heart as it influenced the pacing of the game. I'm obviously talking about the changes made to global cooldowns, and no, don't worry, I'm not going to discuss it in this video, because most of you guys already know my opinion about the subject. The following statement is probably one you've heard many times before. BFA looks like Legion 2.0. This is a statement a lot of people gravitate towards because BFA is taking over all of these systems that did work in Legion, like the artifact power progression system, world quests, and mythic pluses. This is not a bad thing, but for some people it just looks like they didn't introduce a lot of new things going into BFA and just took over all of the things that worked in Legion. Personally, I have nothing against it, and I'm also a big fan of the phrase, if it's not broken, then don't try fixing it. I do think Blizzard did learn a lot from Legion, and hopefully they don't make the Azeroth system too grindy. Still, they did try to implement new features like War Mode, Island Expeditions, and Warfronts, and they do look quite good. Which brings me to the next subject people are worried about. Will there be enough content when Battle For Azeroth goes live? This is a pretty hard one because it's again something personal. I think in Legion it might have been a little bit too much in terms of the pacing and the amount of content that was available. But again, if you play World of Warcraft each and every day for 7 hours, then yeah, there is a tiny possibility you will go through the content faster than someone who plays WoW at a casual level. Filthy casuals! But I do think that the patches will be released at the same pace as during Legion. Another thing that got me worried is how much min-maxing there will actually be available for the people that do raid or play Mythic Plus at a higher level. Sure, in Legion, min-maxing might have been a little bit too much, with having legendaries, trinkets, and different tier set combinations, even playing with add-ons to change gear sets on the fly during a Mythic Plus. But with legendaries and tier sets gone, will there still be a lot of min-maxing? Blizzard even said that we won't be able to switch gear during a Mythic Plus in BFA, which is something I really liked doing in Legion. Personally, I love min-maxing, and I do think some people are looking at the Azeroth gear and be like, is that it? And of course, I also hope that we will finally see some interesting and cool looking Azeroth traits that will give us access to some more min-maxing within our class. But I do just get the overall feeling that Blizzard is trying to simplify things a lot more in BFA. Another reason is probably that we, the players, are getting older. If you have been playing WoW since vanilla, then Battle For Azeroth will be expansion number 7. Only counting the amount of expansions we have already been through is insane, and it shouldn't be that big of a surprise that our excitement isn't the same as when they announced, for example, Wrath of the Lich King. Which is completely understandable. As a longtime WoW player, I really envy players who have only started playing WoW very recently, because it's a feeling that I will never ever experience again. Last but not least is probably the beginning theme of BFA, with the good old Horde versus Alliance. Of course, after defeating the Legion and killing Argus, this does feel pretty underwhelming. It's true in a sense, but believe me, I'm pretty convinced that the storytelling will be better in Battle For Azeroth. Believe it or not, Blizzard is working really hard in the immersive gameplay through storytelling side of the game, Therefore, I'm pretty sure that lore-wise, BFA will be better than Legion. At the end of the day, I think the hype surrounding Battle for Azeroth will eventually gain traction once patch 8.0 does go live, and we start to get closer and closer to the actual release date. During the testing of the BFA beta, I caught myself a number of times getting sucked in and really having that feeling of looking forward to when BFA finally does get released. Eventually, I do trust Blizzard to deliver and turn BFA from the most controversial expansion into a very noteworthy one. A lot of new and interesting features are waiting for us, new amazing looking zones, great storytelling through questing, island expeditions, better designed mythic pluses, insane looking war mode, battlefronts, new main city hubs, new allied races, and so forth and so on. Sometimes I do feel like the WoW community is just looking at every change in a negative way, but to be honest, I do think Blizzard will pull this one off and deliver a very solid expansion. Hopefully more and more people do get hyped, and if they don't, I'm guessing most of you already pre-ordered BFA anyway. Let's get hyped together and celebrate our love for World of Warcraft. And that is again all for this one, guys. Let me know in the comment section down below if you're hyped for the new expansion or not at all. Like this video if you liked it, and of course don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more WoW content. For the people that are already subscribed, you know the drill, click on the freaking bell icon and join the notification team. As always, thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.